Juvenile Huntington's disease is a child who is dying and losing all of their abilities, walking and talking and dressing and riding bikes and going to school. They get really sick and they have feeding tubes and they have to have walkers and they have to have respirators and they end up dying. And they're so young. They're 2, 3, all the way up to like young adult. But it's completely different from adult HD because even the scarring on the brain compared to the adults aren't as wide ranged in the brain as the children are. And the brain development in the adults is already done, but the children's are still getting developed. So their brains are developing and getting sicker, so it affects way more areas of the brain. It creates more things like seizures and stiffness that the adults have, the chorea. The adults live up to like 20 years and up, and they don't get it until they're like, I don't know, 40 and up. Or then 40, 50, and then they don't die like they're old enough. My dad had adult HD. But these children don't get saved. It's like people want to ignore they exist. It's like people run away when they see it. Friends and family and everybody. And the sad part is these kids aren't just losing their lives, they're losing their families and friends. It's like affects everybody. It's genetic. So all of these children not only are suffering extremely bad and are all about to die, because 21 is usually a main age, but a lot of them are, there's 19, 24, there's 30 and 35, there's 15, there's 4 years old, there's 17, there's 20, there's tons of them. There's hundreds and hundreds of children, and a lot of them you don't even see because you can't even tell where they are, because I only find these ones in certain areas on the internet. So I barely see where any of them are. And they're all sisters and brothers and mothers and fathers, and they all have families that love them, and whoever passed it down to them is also suffering. So they lose a parent. Basically, every single one of them loses a parent because the parent gave it to them. And that's just cruel. And I don't understand it. I know my dad died, but my dad passed it on to me and my older sister Erica and my little sister Carly. My older sister has a different dad, but his sister Carly was absolutely amazing, and I love and miss her so much. She died. She was only 13, and she was in so much pain. She'd have spasms throughout her little body. She was so little and thin, and she'd have huge spasms throughout her body, and she had a feeding tube, so she threw up her feeding tube. They had to put in a weird way of putting her feeding tube so that it worked for her. And then she'd throw up her feeding tube, and her feeding tube would come out all the time, and she'd be screaming and crying. And there's only certain ways that she could lay that would make her feel better. And then the stomach issues, and then the seizures seemed to make it progress faster. And then it hurts so bad watching them suffer like that. And then finding out that you have it hurts really bad too. And then when you feel the pain of it, feel how extremely painful it is, you think, no wonder they're okay with dying at the end. I know they don't want to die because they're all children. I know. But at the end, everyone says, I'm glad they're not suffering anymore. Because it's true. I'm glad they're not suffering anymore either. I mean, this pain is your personal hell. And I'm older than them by like 10 years. And I don't know how I'm still alive and have juvenile Huntington disease. I'm 27. But I mean, they're just babies. And they deserve life. And they deserve to be able to do everything. They used to love gymnastics and swimming and soccer and playing with friends, hanging out with friends, and even being able to walk across the floor. They used to love to be able to walk. They used to love to be able to stand up. You know, it all gets harder and harder and harder. They probably miss being able to eat something, you know? When it gets that bad and you're stuck eating and getting meds through a tube, they miss probably everything. And everything they missed out on. I pray for them all. I love them so much. And you know the sad part? The sad part is these hundreds of families and children, most of these babies, all these children, I can tell you most of them are already dead. They're already dead. Can you believe that? There's so many fighting and hanging on, and they all have amazing spirits and inspirational. They laugh when they love things, and they play, and they get so excited when you give them surprises. And even when they're so happy, they cry out of enthusiasm and excitement and happiness, and you just could fill their lives with amazing things. And they still end up dying, but at least their life was absolutely amazing. So I hope you help me get their lives absolutely amazing. If you're blessed enough to know a child with juvenile Huntington's disease or have been touched by one, you are truly blessed. Because they are all so incredible. They're literally angels on earth. Truly they are. You'll never meet anyone so special than those children. And they deserve the best. But angels on earth means that they're angels and they're going to fly away, even at really, really young ages. They're all just children. You know, just leave them be children. You can't sit there and watch, you know, a 4 or 5-year-old get poked and get their heads full of MRIs and watch them have seizures and have them fall and then tubes putting in them in babies. You know what I mean? It's like, what is wrong with the world? They're just children. And you don't want to watch your children die. You know? It's just mean. You don't want to watch your sister die or your brother die or your father or your mother or come on, they're children. They deserve to be recognized. They deserve their own research and clinical trials. They deserve everyone to see them and know that they're fighting as tough as they can. They fight through this and they're so graceful when they do it. And they do it with so much faith and hope and love. And they love everyone like they do. They love everybody. They love giving hugs. And then other kids just don't like giving hugs. It's like sensory things, I think. They're so incredible. And I pray that for comfort for everybody that has go through this. And for everyone surrounded by it. And that people will get some common sense and learn the difference between adult HD and children's juvenile Huntington's disease and realize it exists and that they need help. And they children don't have Huntington's disease in the sense they have the juvenile Huntington's disease, because there's a huge version between putting Huntington's disease as an adult and child versus putting the adult Huntington's disease and the juvenile Huntington's disease. And yeah, I love them so much. And they just deserve so much time and so much life. And I pray that they get as much of it as they can with who they get it with, you know? That they get to be together for as long as possible. And even after they die, they'll get to be together again. But that doesn't mean we can't stop fighting for them to live so they can be together in life. Please help the JHD